Hey everyone, Justin here. So today we will be taking a look at Tesla's goal of delivering 500,000 cars by the end of the year, which if Tesla can achieve this would be quite a big increase from last year. Last year Tesla delivered 367,000 cars, and in 2018 they delivered 245,000 cars. So if Tesla can pull off their 500,000 unit goal by the end of the year, then that would represent an annual growth rate of roughly 43% since 2018. And the growth rate is very important because Tesla has a very ambitious goal of producing 20 million cars by the year 2030, which Musk himself has said is possible with consistently excellent execution. But in order to grow from 500,000 deliveries in 2020 to 20 million deliveries by 2030, Tesla will need to hit an annual growth rate of 45%, which is very close to the growth rate they have been able to achieve over the last 2 years. So it appears that these delivery goals are not random and that Elon is really trying to stay on pace for 20 million deliveries by the year 2030. And from an investment perspective, this aggressive sales growth goal could have big implications for Tesla stock. The largest automaker in the world by volume is currently Toyota, and even they don't sell 20 million cars a year. In fact, they sell roughly half of that every year. So if Tesla can maintain a 45% annual growth rate, then they are set to become the world's largest automaker by sales volume in about 8 to 9 years, which is pretty crazy to think about. Now, I do apologize for throwing a bunch of numbers at you right away, but I think it's important to remind ourselves that these aren't arbitrary numbers and that hitting these goals will be crucial to Tesla's long-term success. And if you keep up with Tesla stock news, there have been quite a lot of stories this week that have centered around this 500,000 delivery goal. So we will look at some of these articles, pull out the important information, and then I will get into some updated sales numbers from October and November, with the goal of trying to see if 500,000 deliveries by the end of the year is even possible. So there's a lot of good information in this video, and I hope that you stick around until the very end. But first, if you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are on track to break the 5,000 subscriber mark by the end of the year, and I really appreciate all of you watching and commenting. So thank you for your support. Now, the first article I want to talk about is this article from Electric that came out yesterday. And it talks about how the 500,000 delivery goal might actually be achievable. Now, at first, the author didn't think this was likely since there are only 3 weeks left in the quarter. However, on Friday, Electric learned that Tesla had already achieved its production goals for the Model S and the Model X, and that they were now shifting all of their energy to the Model 3 and the Model Y assembly lines. And keep in mind that it is only deliveries that matter, not production numbers. So Tesla will be focusing their energy on the markets where they can deliver cars to customers as quickly as possible, which would be in California at their Fremont facility and in China at their Shanghai factory. And there are some pretty important delivery updates from those factories, particularly the Shanghai factory that we will get to in a minute. But first, in order to reach their delivery goal, Tesla will need to manufacture about 181,000 vehicles this quarter. And that is pretty ambitious considering their previous quarterly delivery record of 139,000. So Tesla is attempting to push out 30% more vehicles this quarter, which would be very impressive if they can get it done. Now, in order to determine if this 500,000 delivery goal is possible, let's look at the delivery numbers from October and November. And remember, Tesla needs to deliver roughly 181,000 vehicles over these 3 months, which is an average of 60,000 vehicles each month. So keep that in mind. Now, for the month of October, Tesla was only able to sell 35,968 cars, which brings their year-to-date total up to roughly 352,000, which is really good, but that still puts them nearly 150,000 deliveries away from their 500,000 delivery goal. So based on this data alone, Tesla's chances of success don't look great. Remember, Tesla needs to average roughly 60,000 vehicles a month until the end of the year, so they are going to have to pick up things considerably if they want to hit their 500,000 unit goal number. But with that being said, there are 2 big pieces of information that give me hope that Tesla just might be able to pull it off. If we go back to September sales numbers, we can see that Tesla sold 65,000 vehicles worldwide, which is considerably higher than their October numbers. And what I found most interesting about this is that the production numbers from Tesla's Shanghai factory actually jumped up considerably in October. And before I reveal the Shanghai factory numbers, let's back up and look look at the sales numbers from September. For the month of September, Shanghai production was roughly 12,000 vehicles, and that was on global sales for Tesla of roughly 65,000 that month. However, for the month of October, the Shanghai production numbers actually doubled from 12,000 to 22,000, while Tesla's global sales dropped to only 36,000. Now, part of the reason for why this could be that there are always big pushes at the end of the quarter for Tesla to try and hit their quarterly goals. And it looks like this could be what is happening here. I went back to Q3 global sales numbers and I looked at them on a month-by-month basis to see if I could spot any trends. And it looks like it is pretty clear that Tesla saves a lot of their deliveries for the end of the quarter. In July of this year, Tesla global sales were only 33,000. But if we look at global sales for the month of August and September, we can see a big jump. August came in at 42,000 deliveries and September was 65,000. So I expect that we will see a similar trend in the last months of this year as well. And if we shift our focus to November sales, we can see that the increased Shanghai output could be the key to Tesla's success. Now, I could not find any comprehensive sales numbers for Tesla for the month of November, but I was able to find sales numbers for China. November sales numbers were 21,000, which is only 1,000 less than September's production numbers. And something else I should mention is that this is not the number of cars produced, but rather just a rough sales number. As you can see, in October, production at the Shanghai factory was 22,000, while actual sales were only 12,000. So it is possible that the production numbers for November are actually higher than 21,000. And in case you are wondering why this is, the difference between the production numbers and the sales numbers comes from Tesla exporting some of those cars into other markets. Now, the reason for the jump in sales over the past 2 months is because of recent improvements to the Shanghai factory. In October, Tesla's Shanghai factory got some upgrades that allowed it to increase its annual production capacity from 200,000 units all the way up to 250,000 units. Also, Tesla was able to add a third production shift to the Shanghai factory in late October, and this helped accelerate their production rate. So it will be interesting to see how the November production numbers are impacted by that additional shift. Because in my opinion, it is very possible that Tesla actually exceeded their October production numbers for the month of November. But we will just have to wait and see. Also, an encouraging article I found that was published in November states that the Shanghai factory is expected to have annual production rates of 550,000 units in 2021. So it will be really interesting to see if any of those production improvements have already taken effect, which could increase production for December as well. Now, in order for Tesla to hit the 500,000 mark by the end of the year, they would need their Fremont facility, the only other facility that assembles their cars, to make up the difference. And the encouraging thing is that Tesla also increased their production capacity at their Fremont facility. In this article from late October, we can see that the Tesla Fremont factory can now produce 500,000 units annually, which is up from its previous 400,000 unit limit. And Tesla says that they should be able to reach this new production capacity by the end of the year. Also, Tesla just announced on Friday that they would be suspending their production lines for the Model X and the Model S for 18 days. The suspension will start on the 23rd and run through the 11th of January. And all of the factory workers on the Model S and Model X assembly lines were given the option to help with the Model 3 and Model Y assembly lines. So that should also help boost production through the end of the year. So I know that was a ton of numbers and a lot of different things to consider, but for me, I am cautiously optimistic that Tesla might just be able to pull it off. Now, it's not likely to happen in my opinion, but it might actually be possible. If I had to give it my best guess, I would say that Tesla will probably get close to their 500,000 unit goal, but will ultimately fall short. Which, even if they do come close but fall short, that would still be an incredible accomplishment, especially considering the factory shutdowns Tesla had to go through earlier in the year, and those were due to the coronavirus. But from an investment standpoint, getting as close as they can to this 500,000 delivery goal will be really important. Tesla stock will most likely be under quite a bit of pressure in January, which will stem from the big rally they've had this year and the upcoming S&P 500 inclusion day. And I think that Elon understands understands that this is the case. Last week, he wrote an email to employees stating the importance of focusing on profits. And this week, he wrote an email encouraging employees to boost efficiency as much as possible. And in one of those emails, Elon says if Tesla does not deliver, then he warned that Tesla stock could get crushed like a souffle under a sledgehammer, which is a little dramatic maybe, but I tend to agree with him. So if you guys found this video helpful, please subscribe and hit that like button. Also drop a comment below with your thoughts. Can Tesla do it, or are they going to fall short? Let me know below. And with that, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.